basketball would be a little bit, you know, we would be singing a happier tune at this point. It has not gone that way for the Tar Heels, unfortunately. They played last Wednesday night against the Michigan Wolverines. We previewed that game a little bit, and it did not go well. The Tar Heels are now 6-2 with losses in two of their last three games. They lost 84-67 in Ann Arbor. It was a tough loss. They couldn't defend anyone. The leading scorer in the game was Kobe White again for the third straight game, but instead of it being 33 points or 19 points, it was only 12. So, what is wrong with UNC and can it be fixed?
I think it just goes back to more of just our deficiency at having a solid man in the middle. Like UNC, great UNC teams have always had some sort of interior presence. But again, I just don't know if Roy can really trust the bigs he had. I mean, we talked about being positive about Garrison Brooks, but it doesn't really seem like he's made much of a jump from last year, it's starting to worry me more for this team. The fact that we got Armando Bacot for next year definitely makes me feel a little better for the future. But right now, it's just, I mean, you can't have your starting big Garrison Brooks be as ineffective on the defensive end as he has been.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the Tar Heels, it starts with leadership right now.
We got one block the whole game, by the way.
I mean, they don't play defense.
Yeah.
They don't play defense right now. There's no leader on the team, and I don't know what the issue is. I think Theo was obviously just a big-time leader last season, and they are missing him greatly. I sort of, I thought Theo was a big issue at the beginning of the year last year, and he played a lot better at the end of the season. At the end of the season, I was able to tell how his play on the court was able to impact the team, but also his leadership skills were valuable. You could tell it when he gave his senior speech. Just everyone liked Theo Pinson, and he, was a great guy, was able to bring up the spirits in the locker room, but he was also a great leader on the court. He made sure people, were in the right spots, and you don't really have that because, Luke May. Has Luke May ever really been the guy on a basketball team? I don't even know if he was in high school. Same with Kenny Williams. Kenny Williams seems like a very reserved guy. He's not a superstar player. He's more of just a 3-and-D guy. Cam Johnson's the other one. I don't know if Cam was the best player when he was on Pittsburgh, and he's a transferred grad student who's only been there a year and a half, isn't quite a born and bred Tar Heel. He was a Pittsburgh Panther first, so can he be that leader? It's just who's going to be the leader on this team? That's nice. Who's going to be the leader on this basketball team? I think you have three guys who are the seniors, Kenny, Luke May, and Cam Johnson. And those are three really good players, and you'd like to have them on your team, but none of them have been the guy or been, shown to be leaders. So who's going to be that next guy to step up as the leader? I'm inclined to think it could be Kobe just by the way he's playing and by the fierceness that he possesses, but the dude's a freshman.
Yeah.
It could be Nazir, but Nazir's only getting 19 and a half minutes per game so far. Not going to be Garrison Brooks. I mean, he's a good player, but not a great player. I think you need a player that can back it up, a great player that can back it up. And right now, you don't have that from UNC. And the thing about leadership is if someone's slacking off on the defensive end, there needs to be that guy that can get in there. It can't always be Roy Williams because that will get old if Roy is constantly calling you out on defense. And I don't know what Roy's coaching style is exactly. I'm sure if you were in the locker room after that Michigan game, no one would have liked it. And I'm sure Roy gets on his guys, but sometimes you need to hear a different voice. It's what you see with the Spurs now with Greg Popovich. When Tim Duncan left, it's not the same. You need that player there that can, work with you in tandem, and that will truly get a team gelled together, and you'll have those leaders. But you can't just have one. You need two. We have one in Roy. Who's that on the court leader?
I think at this point, if the seniors can't prove that they're willing to step up as leaders, Roy just needs to put complete trust in his freshmen. I mean, you have one of the more talented recruitment classes you've had in a while. May as well just shove Nazir Little in the starting lineup. I mean, you got to start rearranging stuff. The starting lineup now, I mean, Garrison Brooks versus Michigan had a decent game, 10.7 rebounds, but Luke May had 11 points, 15 rebounds, but he was 4 of 12 for shooting. And I mean, neither of those guys got any blocks. I think you got to start testing them a little bit and just start changing around the lineup. And I mean, like you said, the fact it's not, no one's going to just become that vocal leader like that. I mean, it's got to be some sort of upward development from here on out. And I guess we'll just have to see what Roy does with that lineup and with this team going forward.
Yeah, I mean, just right now, North Carolina is 87th in defensive efficiency in all of college basketball. So, that's not going to get the deal done. Only 64 teams make the tournament. You can't be 20 teams outside of that 64 range on the defensive side of the ball. That's sort of something that UNC's, I think, done a really good job of in the last few years with Joel on the outside. Is they might not be the quickest guys, but they knew how to play defense. And defense is yeah, it helps if you're quick, but there are a lot of good guys who aren't elite athletes who are great defenders because they know where to be, when to be there. They know the tendencies of the players they're playing. I mean, there's also the fact of, Nazir and Kobe, when you're in high school and you're that athletic, you don't have to know the player that you're going up against super well to defend them. You're just more athletic than them. But when you get to the next level, every single person can shoot. Every single person's good. Are they taking the time? And I have no idea. Honestly, I have no idea. But are they taking the time to know their matchups? Is everyone on the team? Do they know who's the shooter? Do they know one guy likes to go right or left? Because those little things are the difference in being a really good defensive team and not. So North Carolina needs to reassess themselves entirely on the defensive end. If I'm Roy Williams, I don't care. If you're Kobe White and you're scoring 20 points, but you're not playing defense, take them out of the game. It's only December. If someone is not playing defense at 100%, I would pull them immediately, all throughout December, because that needs to be the tone. If you can score however many points you want, but if you're not going to defend and get in your guy and be on top of the game plan, then you're going to sit on the bench. And Roy needs to set that mindset, and he can do that in December. It doesn't really matter if you win or lose. It doesn't. If you do well in the ACC tournament, you're going to make March Madness, and then once you're in, it's every team's equal pretty much. So they need to set the defensive tone. So